Hey everyone, back for another video, and today I'm just going to be going over some randomness that we have going on. So just thought I'd show you guys what I've been up to. So today I've just been like repairing outfits, dressing dolls, brushing hair, doing more repairs, lining up dolls that need to be repaired or restored or what have you. So far, well, actually, yeah, these are some of the ones that I've been working on, but so far I've gotten around to this one and some other ones. So, like, this is my Ruffle Fun Barbie. I don't even know if I did a video after the restoration of her, or even if I did a video beforehand. I know I did a unboxing of all the broken Barbie parts and everything that I got in a lot a while ago. So this is one of the dolls I pieced together. So I had to get her new arms and body and all that, and her hair was cut, so I had to trim it and boil wash it. So I did go in there and even things out and layer it. It looks a little uneven right now because of the style. Like, she's got some really intense curves in her hair there. But yeah, I went through and I layered it and evened everything out. Because she did have a haircut. Not that bad of a haircut, though. Ruffle Fun Barbie's hair, like, it goes to, like, right here. Or, like, right there to the lower back or the mid back. I don't know. So whoever owned her didn't take very much hair off. So I'm cool with it. So yeah, that is her. I just was playing around with her earlier, trying to figure out what she would look good in. So, and I chose this dress that came on a clone doll in an Easter basket. So I actually have two of these dresses, which I love this dress because not only for the way it looks, but the bottom part fans out really far. So it kind of gives me Barbie Life in the Dream House vibes. Even though it is not a Mattel fashion, it is a clone fashion, but it fits Barbie's, and I don't know, it just gave me those sort of vibes, and it goes nice with her earrings and stuff. So yeah, there's that lovely doll. And then I have this water play doll. This is actually my favorite one. One of my top favorite ones. I don't really rebody these. I don't see the point because the faces are kind of plain. I see people rebodying them, but I'm just like, there's more exciting dolls out there to rebody. So, like, especially the ones with colored hair. So, I grew up with the Palm Beach Barbies, so I don't really mind this. Especially now that the beach dolls are coming with more articulation, so now they can actually, because there for the longest time they had the arms that were like where the hands were straight forward and they could only move them up and down, and the heads could only turn side to side. But now they got a pivotable neck joint in there. So yeah, their neck joint can go all around, and they can actually move their arms out now. But yeah, this was my favorite bathing suit like one of my favorite ones, because she's actually got a two-piece type of situation going on. So I'm like, yeah. In order to be like a Palm Beach level Barbie, she would need bends in the knees and heeled feet, which I have actually. It's a little tedious. I'll see about making a video. Well, actually, let me show you real quick. Okay, so this is a pair of legs that I stole off of another doll. So it was actually a fashionista Teresa type doll, and she was really boring. I found her at the thrift store. So I popped these legs off and I put heeled feet, or legs that had heeled feet, on that body, and I put one of my Surf's Up Beach Barbies from 2007, 2008 on that body. So yeah, and that one's getting rerouted currently. But I was actually able to take the legs and make heeled feet out of these. So basically what I did was I dunked the feet in hot boiling water, and then I bent them. I bent them downward, and of course there was like this bump, like on the ankle, like in the front shin area, I guess. There was like a bump where I'd bent it, so I just kind of shaved it down. You could like use an X-Acto knife or whatever. I used a pair of like dull scissors to do it. It wasn't exactly ideal. And then I took a lighter and I kind of melted it. Well, no, actually what I did was I cut it. I cut the excess plastic off where it was leaving a bump. And then I sanded it, and then I melted it so it would get rid of all the sandy, rough edges and everything. So I took a lighter and I went over it very lightly to kind of smooth everything out. So yeah, I cut the bump off, sanded it, and then melted it just a little bit to smooth things out. So, and these legs can actually now wear heels. So they were like those. They were like these. The annoying flat feet that none of us like, really. So, it was kind of tedious to do it. I'll see about making a video on how to do this in the future. But yeah, I was actually able to do that. So, whoever gets these legs will be able to wear heels. So, you know, the reason I had her in the video was because she needs a reroot, because she had newer saran hair, and it's with the saran hair that you get nowadays, it's kind of a hit or a miss. Sometimes it's really nice quality, and sometimes it's really crappy and feels kind of gross. So this doll had some gross type of saran hair, and when I went to boil wash her hair, it kind of singed it a little bit. I have older dolls with saran hair, and I've never had that happen. It just seems to be on newer dolls. I had it happen to a fashionista once. She was the one that had the really long hair, and she had the t-shirt dress that had a unicorn on it and the white boots. She had tan skin and brown hair. So yeah, I had that happen to that one. I actually have two of that. When I boil washed one, she turned out fine, and then I boil washed the other one, and her hair singed, so I had to remove all of it. So yeah, and that's what happened to this one. Her hair kind of singed a little bit, and I tried boil washing it over and over again, and it just looked like trash, so I cut it all off. And yeah, so now I have the hair colors. I have hair colors that I can use on her that closely resemble what hair she had. But, you know, at least now I'll be able to give her super long hair. It will be Kanekalon braiding hair. And that hair you can literally boil wash as many times as you want to, and you don't have to worry about it singeing. At least the Kanekalon hair that I use. I mean, actual, like, Barbie Kanekalon hair. Like, you know, the fluffy stuff. So yeah, this is a birthday Teresa doll. I can't remember what year, but yeah. It's the more finer fashion doll grade Kanekalon hair. So yeah, this stuff is very lightweight and very floaty and can be kind of poofy a little bit. So yeah, this hair, if you boil wash it in too hot of water, it can frizz up a little bit. It can go poof, or it'll wrinkle up or something like that. But what you do is just use slightly less hot water and dip it in, and it'll straighten out again. So yeah, you just have to watch out what temperatures you use when boil washing this hair, because you might have to wind up, if it singes up, you might have to keep boil washing the hair until you get it the temperature right and get the hair as sleek as you need it. But This hair can frizz up, but it's fixable. You don't have to flat iron it or nothing. You just boil wash it in slightly less hot water, and it'll work out fine. I've never had a problem with the hair on a Kanekalon hair doll frizzing up, and I've never had an issue with not being able to fix it afterwards, so very, very easy. But with the hair that I use, which is this, so this was another doll that I was playing with earlier. So yeah, this is the braiding Kanekalon hair that I use on my dolls. Of course, I boil wash it beforehand so that so it makes it easier to root into the doll's head, but you can see how much heavier it is, and it's a lot shinier. So yeah, this hair can withstand a little bit more heat than fashion doll grade Kanekalon hair. So yeah, she has the Kanekalon braiding hair. So yeah, and it's the only issue I guess I would have to mention that I have with this hair is it has a slight stiffness to it, but it's actually really nice quality hair. I mean, it's more ideal for rooting dolls with if you're going to have a sleek, straight look. So I wouldn't recommend curling this hair or anything like that. It's the same basic thing that happens with, see, that's one thing about Kanekalon hair is it prefers to be straight. That's the thing about Kanekalon is straight hair. The one thing I've always noticed is straight hair for Kanekalon and wavy, curly hair for Saran, because with Saran hair, some dolls that I've had that have originally came with straight hair that had Saran hair, it always tends to do something similar to this in storage. So like when I store my dolls away, their hair doesn't stay straight. And I'm not talking about it'll get creases in the hair. Kanekalon hair can do that. Kanekalon hair can actually get little creases in it and stuff, but no. Saran hair prefers to have a texture in it. So it prefers to be wavy or have curls or something like that. So Kanekalon straight, Saran curly. That's just basically how I've gone to figure that out. I mean, you can get some slight curl in Kanekalon hair, but it still kind of tries to go poofy when you do, and that's kind of the issue with the hair that I use. So the hair is very stiff, so the curls will turn out very stiff and kind of a little bit wiry, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, if you're going to use this hair fiber, sleek, straight hairstyles are preferred on this, or you can actually put waves in the hair. Actually, let me show you. So yeah, she's actually over here. Her hair did get a little bit poofy, but this is the same exact hair that I used on her. So this is a ballerina Teresa doll, a newer one that I have customized. Her hair was the cheap acetate type of polypropylene cheapy feeling hair, and it was really short and ugly, so I chopped it all off, got rid of it, and rerooted her with braiding hair. And it's a little teensy weensy bit poofy, but I just braided it, put it in hot water, and yeah. So either straight sleek hairstyles, or you can put waves in it, or you could actually get your flat iron or whatever. You spray the hair with water, you flat iron the hair, and you can actually put a little flip at the end. So this one, what I did, because my hands have a high heat tolerance, what I did with this one to get this little curve at the end of her hair was I dipped her hair in the water, pulled it out of the boiling water, and I let it, I let the water drip out of it for like 5 to 10 seconds, and then I cupped it in my hand, kind of like this. So I cupped the hair in my hand. I took all of it in my hand and cupped it. And then I had it kind of like this. Her hair is dry right now, so it's not gonna cooperate. But I basically cupped it in my hand to get it a perfect like curve. Yeah, it doesn't look like a perfect curve right now. It would. I might have to do a tutorial on how I do that. But I basically curved the hair in my hand, and then I rinsed it in cold water right afterward, and that's how I got this little instant sort of curvature at the end of her hair. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend curling Kanekalon hair or doing anything like that with it. If you're gonna, that's one mistake that toy companies and doll companies made, was thinking they could put curls in Kanekalon hair and it would be fine. It actually just makes it really hard to deal with. So yeah, it's preferred if you're going to put curls in or anything like that. I would suggest either saran or high quality nylon, so like what Rainbow High has. So yeah, the high quality nylon hair that these dolls have, they also call it kiwi nylon. So yeah, this is preferred when you're doing curls, because the curls, especially this type of hair, this nylon type of hair, the really good quality stuff, the hair gets really loose and stuff when it's wet, so you can very easily like comb it, and then the curls are always very bouncy. They're not stiff or anything. So yeah, if you were trying to do these sort of curls with that hair, the curls would be extremely stiff. So, and you wouldn't be able to brush the hair. So yeah, that's just me. I mean, you could put curls in this very easily, and if you were satisfied with that, if you weren't going to brush the hair or anything like that, if you were just going to reroot a doll and curl her hair and just put her on display, that would be fine. But if it's a doll you're going to be playing with, then I wouldn't. Like, you can put curls in this hair very, very easily, so it's not very hard. Kanekalon hair is very easy to like sculpt and shape and stuff like that. It can be a little bit tedious because, like I said, Kanekalon hair prefers to be straight, so if you do put heat on it, like with water or anything, it's gonna try to go straight again. So, but that's what I love about Kanekalon hair, is that you can take a doll with super frizzy, nasty, gross looking hair, and if it's Kanekalon fiber, you just boil wash it and go straight, and it looks new again. It's like, it has the most dramatic transformation. So that's my little rant about that. But yeah, this was a doll that I was redressing earlier. I did have her in this dress. So this is another doll I rerouted with Kanekalon braiding hair. You can just see how it moves. Yeah, sorry for the mess in the background, but more often than not, my room is messy, so just that's the reality of it. But yeah, you can see how nicely it moves. But yeah, you see how nice it looks when it's straight. Here, let me fix her hair. But yeah, Kanekalon hair just looks its best when it's straight. When it's sleek. Oh yeah. I do need to boil wash her hair again because I haven't boil washed her hair in like a year or so. So I haven't really boil washed her hair since I rooted it in, and I've played with her hair quite a lot. That's another thing, the hair that I use withstands the test of time. I've played with her hair a lot, and she's only got a few little scraggly, like 1 or 2 or 3 little scraggly hairs that I can see. And the rest of it is just like, wow. Also, it's preferred to root the braiding hair in long because, like I said, the stiffness of the hair You don't want to like do really short hairstyles because it will make the hair really stiff and awkward. So long, sleek, straight, or wavy hairstyles is preferred when working with this hair fiber. So yeah. But even if you do put curls in this hair and you don't like it, just boil wash it and it'll go straight again. So yeah, but that's Kennel Care Barbie from 2001. So yeah, she's the one that has those earrings, and she has the green eyes. Generation Girl face, the magenta or dark pink lips. There's actually two variants. This one is the one where her face was stamped on, like her face paint. And the original one that I had stenciled paint. So the paint work on her face looked more airbrushed, like a lot of features did. And she had like super intense white eyeshadow. So you see the brown, and then on her actual eyelid she had intense white eyeshadow. And the paint job was a little more bold than this one. The ones that had the stamped faces, you can see like the eyelashes are really tiny and very fine, whilst the dolls that have a stenciled face, the paint job is going to be more bold and the lashes are going to look thicker and stuff like that. So yeah, this is the stamped variant. So, but yeah, she was the doll that I found at the Goodwill year before last. I can't remember. But yeah, I found her at the Goodwill, and she had a slight haircut. I didn't like her hair color. And she had some missing hair plugs too, so I was like, I'm just gonna reroute her. And I don't know why, but my original one, I could have swore that her hair was at least down to here, like to her butt. But all the ones I've seen online, their hair has been like to the waist or to the upper thigh. It hasn't been like down to there. I could have swore it was longer when I was a kid. Maybe it's a Mandela effect. I don't know. But I just remembered this doll having longer hair. So that's another reason I wanted to reroute her, so she could have longer hair. But I put her in that dress. She's been wearing the outfit to Really Rosie Barbie a lot lately. Then I had her in a silver dress, so. But yeah, you'll know it's Kennel Care Barbie if she has the more busty body, articulated arms where the hands are very graceful looking, and she has the magnet on her hand. And then she'll also have the underwear, the molded on underwear with all the bees and stuff. So yeah, you can see all those little Barbie bees. Yep, she'll have bendable knees. Except this one's knees don't bend very well anymore. It's one thing I hate about bendy knee Barbies is it seems like they don't stay bending for long. You'll like do this. You'll like bend the knee back and forth like 3 times, and then after the 4th time it's just like it doesn't bend that nicely anymore. You'll go to bend it and it'll bend right back into shape again. So yeah, like if I try to bend, her knee, yeah. So sometimes with Barbies, if you bend to the knee back and forth like 3 times, and then you go to bend it again, it'll do this. And the knee joints on the inside will already be worn out. So Mattel needs to fix that problem with like bendable knees. They need to make the knee joints on the inside stronger so that they last longer. Like this one. Yeah, she's got decent. You need to be able to hear the clicking noise. Yeah, that's how you know you got one with strong knees. Oh yeah. So yeah, that's a China one. This is a Malaysia made doll. So a lot of times I'll find like dolls made in Malaysia, like Barbies, they'll have like one knee that will bend really, they'll have one strong knee and they'll have one weak one. So yeah, more often than not. So yeah, that's those dolls. And then I did eventually repair my Max Steel. I finished repairing the restoration or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, this knee had actually started getting loose, so I put some super glue down in there and I just kept bending it so that the knee wouldn't stick. I just wanted the glue to get down in there so it would, you know, create a coating on the inside so that the knee didn't have a lot of space to be all loose. So yeah, some of the glue clogged all that up, like plugged it up, so now the knee is much tighter. So yeah, I poured some glue in there and just kept kind of moving it. And I'd wait for a second, I'd move it again, move it again, move it again. And eventually the glue just completely dried and now the knee is not loose anymore. So yeah, this one's completely restored. And yeah, for my doll repair video where I was repairing this one, I did get the eye because someone had stabbed this one in the eye or something. And as you can see, the eye is glued back together. So yeah, there's no more cut mark. And the eye, the little white dot in this eye is more intense than this one. So I might go in with some acrylic paint and brighten this white dot up a little bit more. So I would paint the eyebrows, but the paint just kind of, because the eyebrows are really protruded, the paint would just rub off again. So that's a common thing with Max Steel, is if you find them, they're more often than not missing either their eyebrows completely or chunks of their eyebrows. So yeah. And then of course you have like the hair that goes missing. So like there's a scuff part of the hair, and then there's a few little scuffs to the hair. Mostly this one has all his hair paint, if you will. Then I found this soccer Ken outfit. Ken outfits do fit, like most of the time they do. So, and this one's like stretchy material, like everything is really stretchy, so yeah. So yeah, he's done. And then I have this Max Steel, which I started painting the underwear. I painted them with nail polish because I kind of wrecked them trying to crack this open. I was originally trying to crack the body, like this pelvic piece open, so that I could do some sanding on the inside, because I super glued this one's waist so many times when I was a kid. And there's just so much glue buildup that was restricting me from being able to glue the waist together properly. So yeah, for those of you who don't know, like this one was one I had growing up, except for the head. The original head, the original Max Steel to this body had a more angry looking face. And I have no idea where that head went, so lost ages ago. So the body was to one I played with. And of course, I used to play with them in the sand, and sand would get in the joints, and that's how they wound up loose. And then I would throw my Max Steel dolls around, and they would get broken. So a lot of waists wound up snapping in half. So that's why this one was all glued together, and that's why that one was broken in half. But yeah, I distinctly remember when I was 14 gluing this one together. I put a bunch of gel glue, like in the bottom portion, and then I put some up here, and I just layered it on. And it didn't even hold him together. So, because like right after all the glue dried, I was like out I remember I went outside the apartment complex that I lived in, and I went to the front of the apartment complex, and I was just playing by myself. It was like where I used to wait for the bus or whatever, and so there was like this cement slab that I was like doing this with him on. I was just being weird, and then I just kind of like threw him on the ground and multiple times, and then his waist broke in half again, and eventually I just taped the waist back together, and that's what all this like gunk is right here, was from like tape. So oh yeah, I did not know how to fix these back then, but yeah, that's the whole reason I was trying to crack that open. And during the process I wound up, like, some of these pieces got chipped off. Like, you can see the crack that goes all the way through and everything. So yeah, I was a little bit, I had to be a little bit rough to get the pieces apart, but it wound up working out. But in order to cover all those marks that I had made while trying to get this apart, I put nail polish over it. A really like sort of metallic-y, really cool looking nail polish, and so now it's like he's got like a Speedo or something, I don't know. So that was my whole thing behind that. I even managed to get nail polish on the inside of there, like all up in there, but I wound up getting some nail polish like on the legs and stuff. So I got some there, and I got a little bit right there. Yeah, and there's a big portion way up in there that I wasn't able to get to, so. And then I got lazy, and I just didn't do the other side, so the inside of this, all of the inside of there is still gray, like that dark gray color that the underwear originally was. But yeah, I figured it would look cool, and I could try to cover up all the cracks and dents and stuff and make it look a little bit better. I don't know. But yeah. Like I said in my other video, you can tell which ones were mine because they're all... I'm grateful I still have my original ones, though. So yeah. Yeah, and by the way, that... I'm not sure if I mentioned it in the last video, but this head that I repaired was on a Max Steel that was severely sun damaged, and that's why his body broke. So that's why he's on this one, because his original body was just way too damaged. But he was one I found at the Goodwill in like 2013, 2014, I don't really remember, but yeah, he was a thrifted one. And so now he's on a childhood, my childhood. So yeah. And then the last doll I'm going to talk about is this one. So I have this doll from the Dollar Tree, and I was just like fixing her dress earlier. To try to, because it was like starting to fray and everything like that. So yeah, I actually have the dress that goes to the, this is actually the one that was in that meme that y'all would see flying around, where it was someone who had one of these, like took a picture of one in the Dollar Tree, and they put a caption that said it looked like she farted in the box, and it just hit her and or whatever, and that's what they were saying her facial expression was. So yeah, I kind of got her out, and I was playing with her, and then I realized her dress was kind of falling apart, so I melted it with a lighter. So I melted all the like fraying and all that. So then I brushed her hair and all that, so now her hair looks nice. So yeah. So anyhow, that is my video of what I've been up to lately, of being a doll nerd and whatnot, and all my doll projects. So yeah, more videos on the matter to come. I might make some more tutorials on how to reshape Barbie feet so you can make them able to wear heels. It's very tedious, so I'm not sure how I'm going to be able to do that, but yeah. So anyhow, thank you guys for watching. More videos to come, and remember to stay true to you.